Hey, it's Ubu, and today we're playing the demo for a game called Subjectivation. It's developed by ADCAX, it's self-published, and you can find the game on Steam. I've had this game on my wishlist for a while, but it just recently got its demo released, so I'm really excited to try this out. And if you're not familiar with my channel, at the end of the video, I will review the game, share my general thoughts, give it my final judgment, and I will have timestamps in the description. Now let me tell you about the game and we'll get started. Subjectivation is a first-person horror adventure game set in a snow-covered town, frozen in time. Solve puzzles, manage your body heat, and defend yourself from the warped inhabitants of the frostbitten city. Explore the town's past and shape its future with your actions. Now that you know what the game is about, we'll go ahead and hit start and see what's up. So start game. Like we're being dragged. Okay, here we are. Oh, that looks really cool. Okay, we have a note here. This is my dream journal. I'm seeing it now, and so it must mean I am dreaming. I've seen this dream before many times. It feels a bit more lucid this time. I can click on the docs bookmark to look at the papers I carry with me. This truly is a lucid dream. I may already have useful documentation. I can also press tab to put my notebook away. I don't remember how the dream ends, but I'm not convinced it's a particularly pleasant one. Really cool stuff here. Okay. I'm carrying with me lighter. Lucid Dream Operating Manual. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, we can zoom in a little bit. So this is our Lucid Dream Operational Manual. If you find yourself reading this manual, you're likely to be experiencing what is known as a lucid dream. Recall that all rules of the waking world still apply in a lucid dream. As such, there are 3 basic guidelines you should follow. Time does not stop when reading this document, or any other. Mind the implications. Seek heat sources in case of frost buildup on protective goggles. Reduced visibility and hypothermia will pass quickly in a well-heated environment. Refrain from unnecessary contact with test subjects and something. MRTRI. Personnel you may encounter. It's hard to read. If this is your first time experiencing a lucid dream, you may feel disoriented initially. Remember that normal control mechanisms are still applicable. So, WASD, shift to sprint, mouse to look around, tab for our notebook, F to bring up our lighter, R to take out our weapon if we have one, left mouse button to swing a knife when it's out, and right mouse button or E to interact with the world. Okay. Cool. Wonder why this is performing so poorly. Alright, I fiddled with the options a little bit. Hopefully that helps. Some buttons were torn out unceremoniously. Oh, okay, I didn't read that. Nice diegetic stuff here. Need to load a tape. Okay. Then we have a safe here, which we need a combination for. You know, this reminds me of, did y'all ever play those, like, old point-and-click games? There's one with, like, Tim Curry. It's a Frankenstein game. The actor Tim Curry. And the interact icon or mouse in that game looked like a hand, very similar to what we have, I think. It's been a really long time since I played that. But, yeah, I just thought that was cool. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they just kind of threw us into this, so we'll see what happens. Look, did I enter through here? Doesn't look like I can leave the same way. It looks like we have frostbite building up. This is a heat source. Interesting. Okay, that happens a lot quicker than I thought it would. We need to sort of, I guess, learn these areas as we go. Looks thin enough to be sliced through. Okay. So we need to find a knife. Or some kind of sharp object. This game looks really, really cool. I really like its aesthetics so far. I didn't look at this. Can't see your reflection in a dream. Never could. Probably never will either. Not sure who I'd see. Not even sure who I'd see. Either way, you should probably get out of this cell. I would strongly suggest waking up also. Well, we're kind of stuck here, I think. Not sure I agree. This is perhaps my last chance for a night's rest for a long time. Or, of course, I have no time for this nonsense. But how do I wake up exactly? Let's do that one. You could try freezing to death for one. I guess. If you prefer a less unpleasant awakening, try and see this dream through to its conclusion. Hopefully it has one. Okay. I suppose that's a way to sort of just give us direction, more or less. Alright, let's look around for a knife or something. Oh wow, this is a long way to go here. Oh, here we go. Oh wow. This is very liminal. What? Please consider removing the blade stuck in my trunk. The pain makes it really hard to think. I got you, buddy. Okay, pick up. So we got a knife. That's not a knife! Okay. Well, I wonder if we should go back the other way first. Not really sure. I don't know, let's just... Oh! I did not expect that. What is this? Oh my gosh. That's a lot of... Oh man. This music goes hard, dude. Or whatever that was. Oh my goodness. They do a lot of... I'm just gonna call it frostbite damage, I guess. We're just trying to heat ourselves up here for a second. That, I guess if that was combat music, that was really cool. I liked that a lot. This kind of takes a minute, but it's okay. Touch. What did that do? I don't think we have a block. I think we just have to be very careful. See another one down there, I think. Super dark. Oh, I can have this in my left hand. Okay. I didn't realize. Man, they look so weird. Can't get by them. So, must be a dead end then, I guess. Did a really good job with the hands. I just really like how that looks. I keep saying it, but I think it looks great. Okay, so... Wasn't there... Let's see. Let's just go look back here real quick. What am I hearing? Here's something squelching. My hands are busy. Okay. Nice. Pick up. Alright, we have to make sure our hands are free to do things. Picked up a vial. Black bile. Bars. Let's see. How do I cycle through things? Unless it's just like a key item. What is this? Oh. You're a hypothetical that never became reality, at which you stopped showing up in my dreams. I'm not that different from the others. Less precise. Not quite as refined, but the same in principle. You are nothing like the others, or I refuse to entertain this pointless conversation any further. You're nothing like the others. You actually believe that? I know you read the reports you get from the infirmary. I know you know who roams these corridors. Okay, they are a temporary setback that I will take care of. You, however, simply cannot exist. Or, I am not happy about the complications either. It is too late to change course now. Either way, they won't matter soon enough. Or, I refuse to entertain this pointless conversation any further. Not sure what any of this is referring to, but I suppose we're building up something. Anyway, pick the first one. I've been feeling something grow within me as of late. Resonating, reproducing, looping back on itself. It's trying to get out, yet my skin holds it firmly in place. The pain grows stronger by the minute. Okay. Like they're scorched into the wall or something. That looks pretty terrible. Are these cables attached to them? Ew. Gosh. Spectrum analyzer. Nice. Also hearing some kind of machine or something. Or something. Oh. It's this. This is what I was hearing. It's the enemy. Ah! Run, run, run. I don't know if I actually really need to be fighting these quite yet, or if I should just, like, run by them. I don't want to get myself trapped, though. It tends to happen to me in games. It's like, I'll just avoid these enemies. And then I get, like, stuck in a corner. And then I die. So. Anyways, here we go. They're gone. Okay. This is the way we came earlier. Okay. Thing must have gotten up. So far, this is very esoteric. I'm not really sure what's going on other than we're in a lucid dream. I like it. Oh, I could have just attacked them. Okay. I didn't think about doing that before. Nice. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the one that was blocking our path before, I didn't think about hitting it with the knife. That makes sense, actually. Get a free hit on them, too. Look. Someone hastily tossed my office upside down. Good thing I don't keep my records here. Okay. Some of that text is so quick. I found a digital information encoding memo. I should read it. This one. Okay, digital information storage memo. I wish this was a little bit brighter. Maybe if I, like, read it, like, here? I don't know how to switch items in my hands. I might need to look that up in the tutorial thing. Anyways, colleagues, be vigilant in the transition to the digital age. Help us preserve the experimental data safely and securely without wasting the expensive ferromagnetic tape. To do so, familiarize yourself with the digital information encoding scheme that will be used with all the archival data starting on April 13th, 19-something. All personnel will be expected to encode and decode the archival data by ear. Therefore, it is crucial that you become proficient at it as soon as possible. I'm doing my best with the reading. The encoding scheme used for all non-encrypted numerical data is a Morse code modification designed to simplify manual decoding while conserving the recording medium. Specifically, data is stored using a system of shortened letter codes, taking place of the traditional longer codes used for numbers and alphanumeric radio messages. Okay. Digits demoted as what? Utilize their standard Morse code representation. Interesting. So 0 is T, 1 is A. I guess that's what it's saying? Morse code kind of scrambles my brain when I think about it, so I don't know. Anyways, this encoding scheme allows redacted, I guess, smudged, to save millions of both tape storage costs and data processing mainframe costs per operating year. Refer to Appendix 1 of this form for a standard Morse code reference. Please don't make me do Morse code. What in the world? Okay, let's talk to this series of cameras. Your research efforts are secret no longer. Submit a written confession, and you may get a lighter sentence yet. What efforts exactly? Who are you anyway? You've gone through all my notes, yet I'm certain you haven't found a shred of incriminating evidence. Let's go with the first one. What efforts exactly? Who are you anyway? Don't bother. You knew quite well the intervention from the central government was inevitable. Preposterous. The goals of my research are in perfect agreement with the needs of the 4-year plan you yourself set in motion. Goals, of course, but what of the means? What of the collateral damage? What could you possibly know about what we do here, about what I do here? Or, the means are adequate. The damage is limited, temporary. You stand no chance of transcending the limitations imposed by the nature of the atom itself without inflicting any pain. I'm gonna pick that one. Keep telling yourself that. Doesn't seem like it helps you sleep better. Okay. So let's say I want to, like... Is there any way to switch hands? Does it say in the tutorial? R. Okay. I can, like, do this. Then do this. But R is always here. Okay. My right hand. That makes sense, I guess. I'm just trying to figure out how I can equip my lighter and read something at the same time. That's all. I think I figured it out. Let's move on. Did I go the right way? Sneak attack. Man, those things are weird looking. They have like these like squares like sticking out of them. I don't know how to describe that. Like they're made of rocks or something. Bricks. Okay. There I could have just put my knife up, but I didn't. Thankfully, this looks really cool. There's plenty of heat sources we're coming across. Oh, vial, black vial. A holder for a cylindrical instrument. Items. Not taking this vial until I fill it with my blood. I don't think I've found everything for this yet. I'm not really sure. Hope I don't need to be checking all these doors, because I haven't been. Alright, we still need a tape and a combination. Now, I wonder if anything here was telling me a code. Kind of doubt it. Unless this says something on here. Doesn't. Okay. And we still don't have the tape. Interesting. So, I feel a little confused now. Oh, here we go. I can interact with these TVs for some reason. Oh my goodness. That looks horrible. Ew. Huh. I actually don't think that tells us anything. There's a note out here I didn't get. Morse code reference sheet. Should read it. Okay. Let's look at that. I didn't realize that was sitting there before. Let me... There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Okay. I'm not sure how this is going to help me. I assume it's just a guess that maybe the tape we need will play Morse code and that will tell us the combination. I don't really know what this is for at the moment. Unless this is telling me, like, the order. Like, so, like, A would be 1. Like, B would be... I mean, I realize it's Morse code. I just don't... in, like, reference to the combination, if it's telling me an order. But I guess that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Alright, well, I guess I need to go look around some more. I don't know what to do. Alright, well... Unfortunately, I had to look it up because I really didn't know what to do. I've been looking around for a really long time for this tape, but apparently you walk up and you hit this guy with the knife. I don't know how I would have ever thought of that, honestly. Shout out to that video I watched. I don't know how they thought of it, but I guess I should try more things like that in this game, so... I never look things up, but I didn't know what to do. That's okay. We're all human, so can I use the tape? There we go. Okay. Blocking my item inventory. That's okay. Can I... That's loud. Oh, we wrote it down? Thank God. Okay, so it's dot dash dot dash dot dot and then dot 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 dash. Okay, so dot dash and dot. Let's see here. All right. So dot dash is A. We try to do this without. And then dot is E. Wait for me to just go back. So AE dash dot dot. D. AED. And then dot 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 dash. Which is V. Okay. Excuse me, I got a hiccup. AEDV. So 1, 5, 8, 3. Nice. Alright, we have the manual blood transfusion pump. We need to make it back to that chair. I guess. It's a cylindrical object. I literally can't read that. Yeah, okay. I didn't look any further ahead than just trying to figure out where the tape was, so don't worry. I don't remember where the chair is, to be honest with you, so we need to find it. Here it is. Okay, so do this. What do we do now? Ugh. That's crazy. Okay, now we have that. Is that it? How does that help us? What do we do now? Okay, thank you. Now we can talk. Okay, so I'm talking to the tree. Maybe I should have talked to the tree more earlier. I didn't quite catch this. Just thank you. Now we can talk. I was pierced with a knife you now hold too many times to count. I need hot blood to regain my strength. Share yours with me, and I shall offer you a means of escape. So maybe these are like different endings, having the black blood, black bile. So let's just give them the blood. Thank you. Observe the growth, then ascend. Whoa, 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 whoa. What in the world? I'm just trying to use the heater a little bit before I go out there. Wow. Okay. It's very strange. Whoa, what was that? It's like some thing out there. Big glowy, like glowing tree or something off on the other side. Hmm. We're waking up. I really have to get out of bed. There is much to be done today. Okay. Alright. I wonder what happens when we give them that other vial. Let's go figure that out. Alright, well I got the black vial. Well, the vial of black bile. We're gonna see if we can give it to them. The best I can do is some black bile I found. Reconsider, I will wither and die upon ingesting it, and you in turn will never unearth the buried structure on your own. Then freezing to death will be your only hope of waking up. I will take that risk. Drink it up. Okay, we can talk to them again. I asked you to reconsider, but you refused to listen. Have it your way. You're on your own now. Okay, so maybe let's just freeze to death and see what happens? I mean, I'm really curious to see what this tree was talking about. Nice. Looks like it doesn't take very long. And you can see, like, they mentioned we had goggles of some kind, how it sort of, like, starts to shape around that as it freezes more and more. Alright, we're about to freeze to death, I think. Okay, there it goes. Did I turn into one of those things? Ooh. Same nightmare, again and again. I don't have time to waste lying in bed. Alright, well, I'm back on the main menu where now I'll review this demo, and if you're just here for the gameplay, I appreciate you hanging out, and I hope to see you again. Well, I'm going to start with the visuals of the demo, and I would say overall, the game visually is very appealing. I really like the way the hands look. It looks really cool, and like I said, reminds me games that I played growing up that are like point-and-click adventure games, and I just think that's really cool. It's very nostalgic for me personally. I just really like that. It also reminds me of another game I think I played the demo for called Eclipsium, something like that. And they do like the rotoscoped or whatever that is kind of hand thing as well. And I like how that looks. So really, really cool stuff there. Aesthetically, the environment is really appealing. It's very grungy and industrial and almost has like this sense of like brutalism about it. It's just a lot of concrete and metal and stuff. And I think it's really cool. Definitely has this like old world era aesthetic about it, and I just think it's really intriguing, and it's very unsettling in some ways because it's just so cold and dark, and I think the environment itself really matches that feeling, so great stuff there. I think all the notes are very easy to read. Some things are smudged out, of course, on purpose, which I think adds another layer of mystery of what is this like acronym that's always smudged out in these notes and what's really going on there. Also like the simplistic nature of the main menu here. I think it's really cool. It sets the tone, I think, fairly well for its visual presentation. The enemy design is very interesting as well. I don't know if they're different versions of me that have frozen to death or something like that. It's just really a guess. It's very esoteric in a lot of ways of what I'm looking at. It's very odd. The fact that we can talk to these strange beings as well, like the cameras and the tree. It's very odd. Obviously, it's a lucid dream, so there is some very odd things happening here. A lucid dream, if I'm not mistaken, you're like aware that you're dreaming. So I guess it's safe to say that we're able to influence our dream because of that, and this seems to be a reoccurring instance that this person is stuck in, some kind of a loop. I thought the snow looked really good outside as well. Just overall, I would say the game is very visually appealing, and I really like it, so great job. Now, in terms of audio, I like the audio in the game a lot, actually. There's not much going on, though, unfortunately. Like, you have these odd tones and music and ambience here on the main menu, which I also think helps set the tone very well. But while in-game, there's not much music or ambience at all, except for a couple of instances, especially while fighting the monsters, which I thought sounded great. I really like that industrial, clanging, very heavy sort of music happening in combat, which reminded me of like Silent Hill and games like that, especially the original Silent Hill game. I kind of wish there was just a little bit more of that. Obviously, this is a prelude demo, so there's not much happening in the grand scheme of things. Maybe that would make that kind of music appropriate, but I think having some sort of consistent ambience throughout would have helped sort of carry the tone and the overall immersion of the game, because otherwise it's very quiet for the most part, which also works in its own right. I think I'm just more in the camp of needing some kind of ambience, maybe here and there, not all the time. Like, we're in the room with the big cameras looking at us. There is some ambience and odd tones playing there as well, and I think that's okay. I guess it's just more of a personal nitpick of mine because I liked the music in combat so much, I just wanted more of it, is all I'm saying. Aside from that, using our lighter has a nice little satisfying Zippo lighter sound, you know, equipping our knife. There's a lot of attention to detail with environmental sounds, cutting the fabric open with the knife, opening and closing doors, interacting with the tape, the Morse code. Everything that we do in the game has some kind of sound associated with it, more or less, and I appreciate that. I think it helps make the world feel more convincing, as I always say. It's good to have that sort of sound design stay consistent throughout, because it conveys to the player that you're actually interacting with the world, and I think what you did here works really well. The Morse code is very loud, but I appreciate that you actually took the time to make it where you don't have to get very far away from the tape player to have it sort of muted, because hearing that like the whole time you're in that room while you're trying to figure out the Morse code aspect could have been really grating, but I'm glad you're able to tone that down while we're moved away from it. I know that might be just a small thing to other people, they might not even notice or care about it, but I like stuff like that where you're taking the time to, while implementing something like the loud Morse code tape player, you're also allowing the player to have a little bit of quiet, just a few steps away so they can focus on getting the combination put together. So great job with that as well. So with all that being said, your overall approach to the audio design, I would say is really strong. It has definitely a really good first impression. It just makes me want more of it. It's all I'm really saying about the lack of ambience and whatnot. So it's more of a personal nitpick, like I said, but overall, a really solid job with the audio. Now, in terms of mechanics, it's pretty straightforward in some ways. It's very esoteric when interacting with these characters or objects throughout the environment, like the tree and whatnot. I made the mistake of not talking to the tree enough when I first got the knife, so I found myself very lost on what to actually do. On top of that, I find it strange that I had to actually attack that person in the wall to get the tape. I'm not sure if I would have actually ever thought of that, and unfortunately I had to look it up so I can make some progress. Maybe I didn't quite catch what the character was telling me when I was speaking to them. Maybe they inferred that I should hurt them in some way, because after doing so, they said, "Thank you for relieving some pain." So maybe I just didn't catch it, and that's on me. Kind of made me wish there was a little bit more direction in general, but once I figured it out, everything kind of fell in place. So I'm not going to necessarily hold that against the game, but like I said, I'm not sure I would have thought of that. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. That's okay. Other than that, we explore the environment, find key items such as the blood transfusion device, so that way we can get our own blood into a vial to offer to the tree to escape. I like that there is a choice sort of angle to some of this with the black vial or our own blood. They sort of have the same kind of ending. You just say different things. Maybe it'll mean a lot more in the full game, our choices. I just wish maybe there was a little bit more variation with that. Obviously, this is a prelude demo, so I totally understand that. I'm just curious about your intent with the different endings feeling so similar. There may be another ending that I missed. I actually don't know. I assume there's only two. But I like the emphasis on finding items to progress, such as the knife, and then other items to get different endings. But I like the emphasis on exploration. The combat is very simple so far, at least, which I have no problems with whatsoever. And I just think I had a really good time just being in this world. It was so strange, and it made me really think about it being a lucid dream and the implications of that to the overarching themes the game may portray later down the road. And I just think while the mechanics on the surface are very simple so far, I think that's a good thing if your game is more focused on the narrative and the overall atmosphere and the feeling. You don't need a whole lot going on to necessarily engage the player. It's more to just progress through the narrative and the atmosphere and whatnot. So I like your approach to it so far, and I think it's very intriguing. Just little things like looking at those TVs in that room showing these strange people or experiments or something. I'm not sure what they are. Just little things like that. They don't tell you what they are or who they are or what's going on. You just get to look at them. And I think little things like that help do a lot of the world building without saying too much. A lot of show, don't tell, and I like your approach to that. Overall, great job with the mechanics. While simple, I think they're very effective. Now, in terms of story and concept, honestly don't have much to say about the story. It's very surface level. We're almost stuck in a loop of lucid dreams. And the reason I say that is because when we get the different endings and our character wakes up, especially the bad ending, they were like, oh, the same nightmare again. It's like they keep experiencing this for some reason. The why isn't really told to us quite yet, but I think that's really cool that you at least let the player think about it, and the fact that it is so esoteric and odd and open-ended, it allows the player to really think about it, and it really hooked me in personally because of that. So while the story isn't really fleshed out all that much in this demo, I definitely would say it's a good first impression. Like I said, it intrigued me and really made me wonder where this is going to go, and I think that's always a good thing with a story. I think the worst thing you would want with your story is people just not care at all and just say this is stupid or whatever, but I just really like the odd esoteric nature of this, and I'm excited to see where it goes. And the overall concept is interesting as well. I really like the idea of being stuck in lucid dreams and actually being the dreamer influencing the lucid dream. Being aware that we're dreaming, it's just a very interesting concept in general. And the philosophy behind why people dream to begin with is also very intriguing. So great job at the concept. Now, in terms of performance and settings, performance is kind of a mixed bag. I would say for the most part, it performed very well. But especially early on when I first got into the game, there was some pretty bad hitching where the game just decided it wanted to skip and have issues for some reason as I looked around. It eventually smoothed out, but I noticed it happened maybe a few more times after that later down the road. Not really sure why that happened, if it's something behind the scenes, maybe my computer, I'm not really sure, but I just wanted to point it out still. We'll talk about options as well during this. Also wanted to point out with your options, so you have your screen refresh rate here. I set this to 60 Hertz on the menu like this. You apply it, so it's set to 60. When I got in game, it had defaulted back to 120. So maybe there's a way to fine tune that. But anyways, we'll go over the options real quick. You have your screen resolution, your screen refresh rate, your screen mode, your VSync, your gamma slider here, your field of view slider. And then for audio, you have your master, music, and sound effects volume. And I would say your audio mixing in general is pretty solid. I didn't have to adjust the volume at all for me personally. I liked that the music was kind of loud and in your face in the combat, and the fact that the rest of the game was so quiet, aside from the Morse code tape, everything I think flowed really well together. But I do like that you can adjust these nonetheless. And then for your input settings, you have your mouse sensitivity and your inversion of Y-axis. It's a pretty simple set of options here, but I think they're appropriate for my experience at least. I didn't really have much of an issue with the performance except for those odd hitches. I think once I got in game and realized that the options had defaulted back to 120, and once I set it back to 60, I think everything sort of smoothed out a little bit. I'm not sure really how to explain that issue that I was having, but otherwise, the options that you have here, I would say are acceptable. I would definitely try to maybe clean up the UI here for this, the font and whatnot. I think it looks just maybe a little messy, but that's just a personal nitpick. So while I may have had a few issues with the performance, it eventually smoothed out, and I think your options are totally acceptable. I just think the menu itself could be adjusted to be a little bit more presentable. So my final judgment for the Subjectivation Prelude demo is I would say it's good. I had a really good time with this. I really enjoyed its visual presentation probably the most, and I really liked the sound design, especially the music during combat. I wish maybe there was a little bit more ambience, and a little bit more of a dreadful tone placed throughout. But I do understand that this is a demo and there's far more to see in the full game, I'm sure. And mechanically, while the game is very simple, I think it's very effective for just the overall feeling that the game is giving off and what we're actually doing as a player. It doesn't need to be super complex or have these ridiculous puzzles. I think for the amount of things that we had to do in the demo, it was a nice way to ease us into the world that you've built here. And I'm really curious to see what you have in store going forward when it comes to mechanics. The story, while very surface level, definitely intrigued me very much, especially it relating to lucid dreams and the overall concept of being able to influence our dreams while set in this waking nightmare scenario. So really cool stuff there with the story. Conceptually, the game is really solid as well. And there were some hiccups here and there with the performance, which eventually smoothed out. The settings are very acceptable as well. I just think they'd be cleaned up a little bit in terms of their presentation. It's mostly a few personal nitpicks that it's holding this back for me a little bit. The fact that I got lost for so long, having no real direction, or maybe just me not realizing that I needed to use my knife on the person in the wall for the tape. I'm not necessarily holding that against the game per se, but it is definitely something to consider going forward when it comes to the player's progression and pacing of the game itself. Also, the endings that I experienced today feeling so similar was a little off-putting, but it makes me curious at least to wonder what your approach was to that and the meaning behind it. But overall, I would still say this is a really strong first impression. This game has really good bones. I really like its vibe especially, and I think you're going to do just fine with this. So keep up the great work, and I wish you the best of luck on your future endeavors and your work. Tell me what you think in the comments below. What are your thoughts on this game? Do you agree or disagree with me? Do you have anything to add? You just want to say hi? Let me know what's up. And don't forget to check the pinned comment below for the links to everything and go play this game for yourself and form your own opinion. I'm sure the developer would really appreciate to hear your feedback as well as mine. And if you'd like to support my channel, hit subscribe, leave a like, comment, and share the video. I'd really appreciate that. And I thank you for watching my video. I hope you have a wonderful day. And I think that's all I have to say about it. So thanks for hanging out with me. But don't forget,